All right, we're here with Adam Leon, writer-director of Gimme the Loot. So I have to first ask, because this is your debut feature, do you feel like you've accomplished everything that you've set out to?
Well, I think just making the movie is a big accomplishment when you're doing a first feature. I think that if you showed me the movie before, obviously there are things that go differently, and there are mistakes that are made and all of that. But I think if you had shown me the film before I made it, after I'd written the script, I would have been very, very happy. I would have said, yeah, let's do this. Let's go make that movie. So I think that everybody's pretty proud of it. It's a first feature and all of that, but I think we made the movie we wanted to make.
All right, that's great. Now, on top of that, what made you want to tell this story specifically? Because it is a very, we're in a subculture here of street art, of tagging, and it's in the Bronx.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in wanting to know.
Well, I grew up in New York. I don't think the movie's so much about graffiti as much as the fact that they're graffiti writers is a great jumping off point for this adventure that takes place in this place that I'm from, and this community that all the people who came together to make this movie are from. And I think that I had co-directed a short film a couple years before that used non-professional actors from the city and used a lot of kids who came from tough upbringing and these sort of, as we like to say, vivid lives, but that they weren't necessarily miserable people. And usually when I had seen something set in that world in movies, it was a very bleak, dark movie, where everybody gets AIDS, everybody gets, their parent mom rapes them or something. And so I think that those stories are really important to tell, but I also saw that was in the lives of all of these kids, and that while wanting to stay really true and authentic to who they are and where they come from, I also wanted to do something that was, a bit more fun, and again, not dismissing their circumstances, but that was more of just 2 days, a 2-day adventure in their life. You see that in a suburban environment. You see that with the John Hughes movies or with a Superbad or Dazed and Confused, but I don't think you normally see that in this setting, and hopefully in some ways that humanizes those characters more. So that was really the starting point for the movie.
And I think we can see that through the film and your choice that you didn't include the parents. Mm-hmm. We focused just on the kids and their adventure.
Right, you never see any of their parents, and I think that's also part of growing up in well, maybe growing up anywhere. I just know from growing up in a big city, but growing up in the summer, and sometimes the parents are away. I think that the sort of wealthier girls' parents are the mom is in Nantucket for the weekend, and they're latchkey kids. I was a latchkey kid growing up, and so with a single mom, and sort of definitely in the summers was kind of on my own and would go a long time without seeing, could go a day or two without seeing my mom. So yeah, but I definitely wanted to focus on the kids and not make it a parental struggle movie.
All right. And also, I'd like to say that I think that my favorite part of the film is the honest portrayal of New York City that we get. And you've said before that you were trying to find a cast that you talked about having inspirations of certain films where the casts were just pulled right off the street. Mm-hmm. And we see in the film a world that, it sounds cliche to say that I can reach out and touch. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was a real portrayal of New York City and the Bronx and all the different areas. So can you talk about the process of what it took to get that art direction and everything going?
Well, thank you very much. We really wanted to show an authentic New York that maybe you don't always see on camera. So I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I think part of that is the casting and using real kids from that place. Whatever place you're making something, if you're really using the people from that place, I think it gives it that air, that it passes that smell test. And so that was a really essential element. But also it's a super low budget movie, and so in some ways, putting a camera in the middle of the streets of the Bronx or in Washington Square Park downtown in Manhattan, and just having your characters and going wide and having your characters walk through the city and capturing the people and the places of this city, of this place, really increased our production values. You're getting these $1 million shots for no money because you're just sort of putting a camera down there and letting the place speak for itself. So I think a lot of it's about using your disadvantages as advantages, and what the resources we have. We're really small crew, we don't have a lot of lighting. Well, that means that we can just go out there and put a camera down and people aren't going to really notice us or care, which means that we can, capture this place in hopefully a way that, as you said, you can sort of really feel.
And with that, the fact that it's kind of guerrilla style in a way, you can really see on screen the actors are having a blast. At least that's what I got. Can you talk about like a typical day with Tashiana and Ty specifically?
I hope they were having a blast. I think that we had a good time. I think it was really important. You're asking so much of your cast and so much of your crew, so I think long hours and things having to change at the last moment because of the way that we're shooting the movie. And so I think that we needed to really foster a group of people that were open to that and were just sort of fun personalities, and also, just sort of create that environment that really helps with the non-professional actors as well. And so a typical day was usually Tashi and me and everybody else from the crew just giving a really hard time to Ty, just making fun of him all day. And so I would say that would be a typical day, and just making him take it. But of course in a fun sort of spirit. But.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much.
And have a great time at the festival.
I really appreciate this a lot. It's a lot of fun.
You're watching Price of Admission.